Hello viewers, welcome back to my educational YouTube channel Literaria Miscellanea. I am Dr. Masum Islam, welcoming you once again with a new topic from you know BA English minor 1 syllabus and from unit 1, that is literary terms. In my previous video I already have discussed about the basic features and basic knowledge of these terms prescribed in your syllabus. That is, in total 16 literary terms. And there I had divided those terms into two groups, groups 1 and groups 2, naming them as hardware and software, with a unique, with a, innovative terms, hardware and software, because of their uses and their applications. The hardware is considered as group 1 literary terms and software are considered group 2 literary terms. Today, in this video, I am going to discuss about those terms that are named as hardware and that are covered in group 1 category. So let's begin with the terms under the group 1. They are blank verse, heroic couplet, lyric, sonnet, ballad, ode, epic, and mock epic. So these are the 8 terms that need to be analyzed, need to be discussed properly in a methodical way to understand poetry. Therefore, the paper minor 1 paper name is Understanding Poetry, because before you jump into the poetry section and read poetry that are prescribed in unit 2 and unit 3, you have to learn these literary terms, because these literary terms are inextricably linked with poetry part. They are the genres. So let's discuss with the first one, blank verse. Blank verse, from the term you can understand that it is a part of verse, part of poetry, whose rhyme will be blank, where there will be no rhyme. So the features of blank verse is unrhymed, unrhymed lines. Second is flexible, maintaining maintaining iambic pentameter. Third is number C is, you know, the devices of enjambment. Enjambment. It is or run on line. The line which doesn't end at the last part of, or the last, word of the line. It runs on, and the theme, or the message of poetry runs on the second line according to the poet's will, but maintaining iambic pentameter. All right, these are called blank bars. So blank bars is used in, Elizabethan era. In Elizabethan era, before Elizabethan era, Chaucer used to use it, but in Elizabethan era, the blank verse, genre was famous, and it is applied in, Marlowe's drama, Shakespeare's drama. So Elizabethan era, blank verse was in vogue. You should not get confused with the term free verse. Free verse, because blank verse and free verse is totally a pole apart in theme and in technique and its usage. Free verse is a modern usage of verse in poetry, where the run-on line or the metrical rhyme or the metrical, um, uh, configuration is not seen or is not maintained properly. It is like stream of consciousness technique. It's flowed on according to the writer or poet's feeling, emotions. One line can be of 10 stress, 12 stress, another line can be 2 or 3 stress. This is free verse. So you should not confuse uh, blank verse with the term free verse. Alright? It is in modern usage. So blank verse is complete. Now, the second, move on to second term, heroic couplet. So what is heroic couplet? You can understand from this, from the usage of word heroic. You have heard the term couplet in Shakespearean sonnet. The last line, the last 2 lines of the couplet, final couplet in Shakespearean sonnet. But the couplet is prefixed with the term heroic. So what does it mean? Heroic, grandeur, sophisticated, extraordinary. So heroic couplet are the lines which have grandeur expression, sophisticated usage of languages, reason, intellectuality, and certain rules laid down by the ancients that are to be followed. So heroic couplet basic features are followed ancient rules of poetry, of course, of poetry used to express grandeur, language, C is, heroic couplet was in vogue in Restoration period from 1660 onwards, after the return of King Charles II from France. And when he returned from France, he brought with him, you know, the pompous way of living, the luxury, the reason, logic, and the ancient rules that are to be applied in poetry, in literary genres. So, Dryden, after the restoration of Charles II, adopts this heroic couplet elements in his drama, poetic drama. So, use in poetic drama by Dryden. And later, Dryden poetic drama is Aurangzeb, the conquest of Granada. The heroic couplet is used. And later, the 18th century, after Dryden, the 18th century famous poet and satirist Alexander Pope and Samuel Johnson has made heroic couplet to its perfection and turned it as close couplet. Johnson named it similar to as closed couplet because of following strict adherence to the rules of the ancient Greeks and Romans writers. All right. Now, number three, lyric. Lyric in modern sense, what is called lyric? In cinemas, in songs, the lyric is a song like lines or poetry or expressions with tone, with music. But in ancient times, lyric, in ancient Greek, lyric was also was sung or performed with the accompaniment of an instrument that is called lyre. It is very, unique and very sacred instrument of Greek culture. Lyre. From lyre, lyric is derived. So in chorus form, they are sung, they are performed. So in one thing before, one thing I need to mention here, that lyric is a broad term, broad genre, and under it several subgenres comes, like sonnet, is a lyric. It is a sonnet, but also is a lyric. Ballad is a ballad, but lyric. Ode is a lyric. Elegy, haiku, limerick. So, lyric as a broad term, you know, covered all the subgenres under its name. So, its main features is used to express one's feeling or emotion. It is also composed in rhyme lines with certain metrical forms. There is no, limitations. You can compose lyric in couplet, in tercet, you know, couplet, tercet, quatrain, quintain, sestet, septet, octave, nonate, sonnet, etc., etc. etc. So these are the lyrical compositions. There is no limit. I mentioned already. Now the subgenre of lyric is sonnet. Now let's discuss about sonnet. You have already acquainted with the term sonnet. 14 lines metrical with certain dividation are called sonnet. Its features are 14 lines in iambic pentameter, two types of sonnets are there in world literature, that is Petrarchan sonnet and Shakespearean sonnet. So Petrarchan sonnet are divided into two groups: octave, 8 lines; sestet, 6 lines. The main subject matter or the problem are discussed in octave, and in sestet the probable solutions are given. And it coincides with a turn, that is called volta. From when octave shift to sestet, a turn is there, that is called volta. All right. It has certain rhyme scheme, Petrarchan sonnet. So the rhyme scheme is A B, A B A B A B A B C D C D C D or C D E C D E. It has certain rhyme schemes. In Shakespearean sonnet, you have already acquainted with the Shakespearean sonnet in your school level syllabus. So in Shakespearean sonnet, he modified the octave and sextet pattern, and he invented of his own, that is three quatrains with a final couplet, three quatrains with a final couplet. And it has also, the first two quatrains are the main concern of the poet's feelings, of the poet's emotions, of the poet's, abstract ideas, and the final six lines with the couplet, the poet tries to give the probable solution. So sonnet is covered, and sonnet is mainly written with the subject matter of love, grief, beauty, sometimes religion, like metaphysical sonneteers, sometimes politics like Milton's sonnet, and nature like romantic poets, Keats. All right. Now fifth point is ballad. What is ballad? It is subgenre of lyric, and ballad is a most ancient, most remote genre of poetry. It is a song that is generally passed on orally from generation to generation by the rustic peoples about village or folk cultures, legends, gods, superhuman forces, and they are sung in body, with body movement. So ballad features are transmitted orally in ancient times by rustics. B number. Second number is it is coming to vogue by the educated, poets of romantic age. Until then, it was treated as oral poetic version. And in romantic age, Wordsworth, Coleridge, and other ballad writers have started writing in poetic form, and it has four lines stanza. It has four line stanza. First and third line are paired or rhymed with iambic tetrameter and trimeter. Alternatively, in four-line stanza. So these are all about ballad. Now we move on to another, term, literary term, that is ode. It is the most used, most famous, most heard term, ode, because in romantic age, uh, the romantic poets, elder generation or younger generation, all are obsessed with the writing, with the composition of odes. You know, so odes are in elaborated form, taken an abstract idea or someone or something and certain stanzaic structure. You know, so its feature is elaborated in style, certain stanzaic structure, subject matter is on someone or something, natural or some abstract ideas. So odes are divided into three sections. Odes are also the ancient form of poems, ancient form of poetry, and Pindar, the great Greek poet Pindar, used to write odes. So Pindaric odes, second is Horacian ode, the great Italian poet Horace, and third is English ode or Cowley's ode, because the 17th century poet you know Cowley used to you know write odes in his own modified manner. That is called English ode. It is also called irregular ode or irregular. So in some other videos, I will uh, try to describe in details about these three odes, Pindaric, Horacian odes, because these three uh, division needs more expressions, more lectures. So for the constraint of time, I have to complete the rest of the literary terms. This is why, for your understanding, these features will be enough for the time being. All right. Now come to 7, epic. What is epic? Epic is some grandeur type of expression, some grandeur type of writing with supernatural forces, with gods, legends, and superhuman forces, the machinery. So epic poem has certain features. Invocation to muse. There are 7 muse as per the aesthetic expressions. So the poetic muse is there. So epic is a poet, and hence need to invoke to the poetic muse. Grandeur in expression. C. Epic simile is applied or used. Alright? And one thing also, divided into several volume or cantos. Traditionally, 12 volume, like Paradise Lost, 12 volume was there. So the epic is also a ancient form of poetry, and Homer, the great Greek poet in BCE, before Common Era, Homer used to write epic, you know, uh, about Trojan War and its aftermath. You know, so Homer's epics are Iliad and Odyssey, and one also Roman poet used to write epic, in the first century BCE. That is Aeneid. That is Virgil. Virgil's epic is Aeneid. So these are the features of epic. Now the last section of the literary terms is mock epic. The opposite of epic is mock epic. You can understand from the term, the prefix mock. It is a mockery of the actual epic poetry, because epic need much elaborative, much decoration to compose, and hence it seems very uh, pompous or very extraordinary, bombastic. Therefore, to mock the features of epics, to mock the subject matter of epic, certain poets write burlesque or make or made caricature about the epic poetry. So mock epic is just the opposite of epic poetry, and epic poetry is all about a serious subject matter, heroic subject matter. A hero, a hero will be there with the superhuman power, with marvelous voyages, you know. But in mock epic, the hero will be like Don Quixote, you know, and with a trivial subject matter, dealing with a trivial subject matter, trivial, trivial subject matter, and all the other features are used, but to mock only, all the epic features are used only to make mockery of epic. The masterpiece of Alexander Pope's The Rape of the Lock is the famous mock epic poem with several cantos. It deals with the trivial subject matter with the cutting of a lock of a beautiful lady, and relating with this incident, the all the things, all the story moves on. So that's what from today's lecture. Hope you have understood it. And for the second lecture, second part of the literary terms, that is named as group 2 or software, will be soon coming up. So see you with the group 2 literary terms lectures from this lecture series. And it has earlier lecture, the introductory lecture of the literary terms. I have given the link in the description box of the lecture. You can see it. And the 3 lectures you need to watch all the 3 lectures, the introduction, the group 1 and the group 2, to understand wholesome way about literary terms and understanding poetry. If you grab these lectures, half of your exam preparation will be done, and I bet you will surely do good job at your exam paper. So subscribe my channel and stay connected. Thank you.